I'll meet you down on your back. Okay, kicking in first with a little bit of breathing. So you've got a couple of choices. I often like to land my hands on my ribs, but you don't have to. You might prefer to take your arms out, palms up or palms down. So to begin with, it's just a little rest. The fancy title for this little moment is constructive rest. That's a certain tone, don't you think? As soon as you hear the word constructive. So the idea around that is that as you're resting, you're bringing awareness. But let's have a beat together first. Just rest. Okay, now start to tap into all the parts that are in contact with the floor. Back of the head, a feeling of spreading. The spine between your shoulder blades, a feeling of letting go. The back of your pelvis, a feeling of broadening. Your feet. Now bring your hands down by your sides. They can be a little off the mat, giving you plenty of space for the shoulder. Now sense the parts of the arm that are touching. So around the back of the elbow, the hand, the fingers. Now bring yourself into your breath. The rise and fall. Now attempt a longer, slower breath. So try counting for 5. And then no need to count the exhale. Just follow it. Wait till it's all gone. And then watch the speed uptake of the inhale. Try taking off slower. Look into the spaces between each rib. See if you can get the air to pass through. Feeling the air draw up right around your collarbones, your neck, your chest, your shoulders. And then feel the collapse on your exhale. Working right to the end of the breath. That for most of us is a little challenging. We like to shortchange it. So give that a little go. What does it feel like to squeeze all the air out? It's going to feel slightly uncomfortable. Now try counting to 6. And hold it for a couple of beats. No need to count the exhale. Just follow it nice and steadily, slowly. When you feel like you've hit the end, just pause for a couple of beats. And now rest. Bring awareness back into the back of the head and now into the spine. Try a little imagery exercise for the spine. Start at the very tip of the spine. And in your mind's eye, follow the curve of the neck. See if you can be in the neck, following it rising up like you're tiptoeing through each of the joints along the top side. And then follow the thoracic down, tiptoeing through each one of those joints, sensing their positioning, the curve, arriving at your lumbar, follow the curve of it up, keep walking till you land in the sacrum. Take a little look around. It's quite large compared to where you've been. And then follow the coccyx out. Go back up and try that exercise for yourself one more time. Locate the very first joint in the neck, right where the neck meets the skull. In very light shoes, start your walk. Tricky, huh? Don't know about you, but I got very lost around my thoracic spine. Didn't really feel like I was there, didn't really feel very local. So note to self, I might try to practice that a little more often, maybe later today before I go to bed. All right, now this is a little cute moment. Can you start to wriggle like a snake? So a little shift in your head, allowing your cervical to play, your thoracic to play, and then you'll notice in opposition, the lumbar back, sacrum and tail is also wiggling. It's like you're heading across your floor, just like a snake would do. To move through space, its action is to wriggle. Quite fun, huh? Because you get to know which parts are holding. So is it your pelvis that's holding, therefore locking up your sacrum and lower back? Is it your neck? Can you find a little rhythm? And then start to make it super small, until you come back and you're still quiet. You might notice an extra sense of calm now, a deeper ability to center. Let's enjoy that moment. Let's float both arms up to the ceiling. Try and stay deeply within, fully immersed. You're now going to shrug and protract, retract. So let's start with the protract, retract. So you're going to very slowly bring your awareness into your shoulder blades. and start to allow them to separate, slide off your back rib cage, and in turn, you might feel a little gentle rise of your arms, but it'll be very small. And now try and slide your shoulder blades back across your rib cage. Again, it'll be pretty small because you're mindful not to disturb the piece in the head, the back. Let's try that again. Shoulder blades gently gliding off your back. And shoulder blades gently gliding across. Remember, the rib cage is circular, so it is going to feel like they come around the edges to widen, to wrap. They'll feel very forward, and then it is going to feel like they go around the edges to glide back on. Careful you don't pick up the spine as you're moving, and the temptation to think about the action from your arms is difficult. The arms are going to try to drive it. Okay, now only try left arm, left shoulder blade, wrapping around the edge, and then wrapping back. Now try right shoulder, wrapping around the edge, right shoulder, wrapping back. How smoothly can you operate without any clicks, full stops, grinding? Create the space for the shoulder blade to move. Keep it local. Be gentle. Last one. I'm evening up, so just doing my second side to finish that set. Good, now go 2 arms wide for arms opening. So 2 big curves, 2 large curves for arms. Feel the length of your limbs and slowly return it. So be right in touch with the shoulder blades now. They're positioning, so they're sitting slightly oblique. They're sitting slightly laterally towards the edge of your trunk. And I don't know about you, but I'm getting a lovely sense of the side. I can actually feel the energy coming around the side of my torso. And it's making me start to think about the relationship between shoulder, rib cage, waist, to center line, to pelvis. So I'm getting a lovely sense of how that limb could start to communicate via the shoulders, the shoulder blades, into my ribs, my waist, and that seam that runs between my pubic bone and my sternum. One more. Now turn your palms to face your feet. Let's try overhead. So imagine you're holding onto a stick, a pole, a piece of dowel. Center it between your 2 hands. Lightly grip it. Let it sit within the hand and slowly float it back over your head. Opening up your armpit without pinching on the top of the shoulder. Keeping your 2 elbows fully outstretched and slowly return it. Not as easy as it looks. The temptation to bend those 2 elbows will be great. So do your very best. Take off nice and gently and slowly and catch yourself out. The arms shouldn't head out right to left. Can you find that 180-degree range of motion? 2 railway tracks for arms. What do you have to let go of in order to create that range, the functional range of motion? You use it every day to reach up to your cupboard, hang the clothes on the clothesline. Really important for health of your upper torso, but just mentally. Living to a ripe old age, being able to raise your arms above your head. Function. 2 to go. Again, you're in the blade. So you're feeling the local activity in the shoulder blade, the surf of the shoulder blade to allow you to move your arms right back over without arching your back, without disturbing the peace in the back, in the pelvis. Now let's try one. Right arm up, left arm floating down. Can you find the center of that action? So what does it feel like not to disturb the spine? The center line of the spine feels like a very long stick. Energy flowing down the length of the spine as you switch arms, centering it within the pelvis. And slowly return. Remember, both arms are fully outstretched. We've already practiced our protraction, retraction exercise, so be careful you're not overshooting the stretch of the arms, but also not undershooting it. There's an energy to the shape. You're aware of the two arms moving through space, slowly, continuously, consistently. Flow. Great. Now let's take our arms out wide to letter T. Let's have a little spine twist prep. Knees and feet together. My feet are quite close to my pelvis. I'm going to tip the pelvis across as though I'm heading for the right side of my pelvis. Both feet come. I'm on the outside of the blade of my right foot. And now I'm going to look across to the left, just gently. I'm aware of the spread across my upper torso. And then I'm going to use the strength of my upper torso to assist the roll back, the turn back, which recoils my pelvis, my legs, my feet. It starts in the pelvis. Pick it up. Tip. As you're tipping, the counterbalance is the turn back to look in your right shoulder. Does the right shoulder feel like it's heading in the opposite direction, following your right hand and right arm? And now shift your weight back into that right shoulder, your right side of your torso, which recoils the pelvis, the legs. Tipping. Over you go. I find this really tricky. So I know my patterning and my ordering is always a little off first thing in the morning. Landing out of bed, encouraging the spine twist, that rotation, sets about the day. I know it'll free up my walk. So I'll know I'll walk a little more intuitively through my day if I've spent a little more time on rotation. And so therefore then I get a little less stiff in my back and my hips. So I find a little more freedom. Let's do one more each side. Be in the rotation. What can you feel? What can you sense? The opposition as the pelvis tries to lay further over. The head, the neck, the upper torso, the shoulders is the opposition looking back. It starts in the upper torso to twist, to recoil, to rewind. I'm on my last time, tipping across. And sending it back. Okay, great job. Landing feet. Let's try our first imprint. Deep breath out to rock. Remember that little snake exercise we did? You're not snaking now, but it's such a lovely concept to watch that you don't lock up. So imagine there's an ever so slight snake going on as you gently rock the pelvis back into your imprinted position. You're looking for space. When you return back to your home base, which you often hear called neutral, it's the same. How do you look for length, but still center? So you're centering the shoulder as you move the pelvis without tension, without gripping the shoulder blade. You're looking for the centering of the head so that by the time you stand up, the head has an understanding of the pelvis and the relationship to the back of your pelvis. You're sensing the feet so that by the time you stand up, the feet feel, they can sense, they can contact. You've done some wake up activities to bring awareness to the proprioceptors in your feet. The hip feels nice and mobile. Pelvis feels like it's got good mobility, functional mobility. This is this little rotational pivot exercise you're practicing right now. All right, let's test it. Pelvic curl. Breathing in at the top. Look down the length of your spine. So I always stop at the top of my pelvic curl. Find it really interesting just to orientate in this height, because I often find some of the joints in my spine are a little out of line. So that idea of looking down your spine now, can you feel the line of the spine? Can you sense the joints are in line in this position at the top of your pelvic curl? Slowly lay. Think spine. No need to push. You're laying. As you're traveling forward with the spine, segmental control, articulate, but try not to push. 2 to go. Exhale. Give your weight over to your feet. Push through your heels. Raise the pelvis. Lift from underneath. Stay at the top. Look down the length of the spine, deep within your body. Feel the energy reaching forward out through your coccyx and tail. Try and send your pelvis towards your calves. Slowly lay. Keep that message traveling forward with your pelvis. Roll through the back. Smoothly. Careful it doesn't fall. We have 1 to go. Exhale. Feet, all 10 toes. All the knuckles, the 10 knuckles. The center of your heel, big toe, little toe. Really use your feet to raise the pelvis, to lift it from underneath. When you get to the top, sense the legs, the alignment of the legs. Travel towards the centered legs. Lengthen the spine. Feel like it's tractioning forward. Press down with your palms, hands and arms. Arms are long and outstretched. Shoulders are open. Feel the abdominals, feel the centering of the position. Slowly lay. Good. Join me for a chest lift. Hands behind the head. Here we go. Little moment to reset. It's quite a big shift for the hands to go behind the head. The elbows out wide. So you need to feel space between the upper torso and the lower right now. You need to feel your length through your column. Take a deep breath out and let almost all the air out. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Take a deep breath in. Control it. Were you able to keep the center seam? Take a deep breath out. Let almost all the air out. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Now be careful when you breathe in. How do you breathe in without disturbing the center seam, the abdominal wall? Okay, chest lift, exhale. Hold it. Inhaling and exhaling. Check the length. Look down the line of the spine. Does it feel like the whole shape of the spine is in the hammock, is in the curve, but you can still feel the energy flowing through your coccyx? One more breath. Slowly articulate, back to the floor, roll through your upper back. You're laying, you're still in the length of the spine. Careful you haven't lost sight of the end of it. Exhale. Energy through the lower back and out the coccyx. Look through the length of the spine. Does it feel like all the joints are in the shape? That's particularly hard in your lower back. Get deeper. Slowly articulate and lie back. One more time. Exhale. Through the length of the spine. If you're getting a warmth in your lower back. Slowly articulate and lie back. Let's practice single leg lift together. So take a moment. So you can hear the thread today. It's about the spine and it's about the consistent energy, sense of knowing, almost setting. Where is the spine right now? Where can I feel its line? Can I center myself within the length of the spine prior to lifting the left leg? Try it. Carry it up. Pause at the top. Go through the length of the spine before you float the left leg down. Try the right side. You're in the spine experience first. Travel down the length of it. Then float your right leg. Return it. Now travel down the length of the spine and into the leg you leave behind before you float the left leg. That's a physical experience we're trying to connect to. This time when we bring the left leg up, it stays. Right leg joins. We've got both legs up. Just stay. Practice that experience, breathing out, traveling the energy down the length of the spine, almost like you're trying to increase the length. Getting a little longer, getting a little taller as you breathe out. Energy reaching in opposition back out through the tippy point of your spine, your head. Flowing down the length of your back. The legs feel cradled up within the hip. The legs feel like they're getting a message to draw and suck into the hip joint, the socket. And you're going to support that effort with the lift up out of your hip within your pelvis to connect your abdominals and your deep back muscle. Spine twist, go wide. Inhale, the tip across to the right, look left. Exhale, center. Okay, good. Remember, we worked on this pattern. So how do you bring that basic exercise, but all the things we spoke about, into the bigger weighted version? Inhale. You got to really pay attention to that upper torso. It's your anchor right now. It's your counterbalance. One more each side. Great. We land the right leg through the spine experience first. We land the left. We slip the hands in. Let's hula together. Look through the space of the spine as you curl up. Have you got the whole back? Within the spine, rotate. As you twist, can you still feel the energy traveling all the way through the lower back? Last one. And rest. Fold the knees in on your chest. Okay, and just grab hold underneath your legs, lift your buttocks, and rock yourself to sit up. Okay, a little side reach moment. Don't know about you, I feel so good. I feel so long, almost 6 foot. Inhale, tip across. Keep creeping out. And exhale, side bend. Enjoy the space, enjoy the length, and lift up. Good, really shoot up with your arms. Feel that energy in your upper torso. Move into it. And lift up out of that space. And energetically sit. And tip across. And side bend. And lift up out of it. And sit. And over we go. And side bend. And lift up out of it. And sit. Rest. Good job. Let's practice spine stretch together. So I've got my feet just the width of the mat. I'm going to start with my hands resting just between my legs, one on top of each other. So we'll start with right hand first. To begin, I'm going to bring my awareness into the column and close my eyes. I'm going to try and feel a tip off the stack just gently with my head first. So it just nods. But as I nod, I'm looking down the length of the spine to sense the pelvis. I nod a little bit further, which brings my neck with my head. I'm tipping forward off the stack. My fingertips are creeping forward as I tip off the stack. There's a sense of following my fingers with the crown of my head. I'm rolling off the tower of the spine. But as I move, I'm very aware of not taking my pelvis with me. I'm pressing down into the backs of the calves and the heels. I'm trying to creep my fingers a little bit further forward, but I've got to remember to keep my pelvis back at home base. So I'm using my abdominals and using my breath to try and creep a little bit further forward. I think I've gone as far as I can. Take a moment, deep breath in. Awareness by pressing down into the back of the calves and the legs so the legs are active. Deep breath out to roll back up. Sense the base of your spine as you start your motion back. Hands are being sucked, drawn back with the motion back. I'm climbing back up the tower of the spine. Now I'm going to slip both hands behind my pelvis. I'm going to use my hands to help me sit up a little taller, to open up my chest to widen. And then I'm going to try and do a basic back extension here. So looking up to the ceiling, broadening through the chest, trying to feel the space between the sternum and the pubic bone. But I'm going to be really mindful that I've still got the centering of that position, that I haven't thrown it forward and out through that center line seam. Release the hands, find the tower, find the vertical, close your eyes, flip hands, left hand on top. Okay, it starts in the head. The first thing you feel is just the head rock on top of the tower of the neck. And then the weight of the head starts to take the first, the second, and so on and so on. You try to keep articulating through the spine one by one. So bringing that awareness into the column to see if you can literally feel one rising up over the top and tumbling forwards to follow the head. The hands are creeping. The opposition is the press down of the legs, particularly the calves. They're keeping us honest. They're grounding us. Then I'm using my breath and my deep abdominals to get the opposition pull back into the pelvis, which then is really helping me open up the spine and feel the title of the exercise, the spine stretch. Deep breath out to roll back up. Legs actively pressing down as I get drawn back in through the roll back up of the spine. Flip the hands back behind. And now lift the heart and chest. Preparing for our day. Being open to what comes our way. Being able to respond spontaneously. Shifting accordingly. Okay, nice. Let's bend our legs. Let's try a little roll back together. So hands underneath your legs. My feet are hip width apart. I'm going to slowly nod again. So that movement that we've just rehearsed, all that information we've just put into the spine, should mean now when I look down the column, the line of the spine, I feel like all the joints are finding their position within that curve a little easier. Take a moment, deep breath out. 2 more. Look down the length of the spine. 1 more time. Bring that shape forward as close as you can towards your knees. Try and drop your head into the space between your knees. Climb back up. Use your hands on your legs. So it's a very similar movement right now that we've just rehearsed, but it's a little harder because your legs are in really tight, so it's much more hip work. Okay, nod into the curve, right where we were for spine stretch. Take that whole curve back, open from the hip, roll around the pelvis. The pelvis is pulling back. We're loading the abdominals. Two more. Taking the shape all the way forward. Try and get into the space between your legs, nodding, and from the base of your spine, sense it like you're climbing up an imaginary wall. Get as tall as you can to the top. Use your hands on your legs. Lift your heart and chest up. Feel the extension through your spine, particularly the upper thoracic. Walk your eyes along your ceiling and return it. Good, we're going to do 2 no hands. Exhale. Try and look inside, look along the length of your spine. Does it feel like all the joints are within the curve? Really tricky in lower back. Really pull the pelvis back into the tuck, into the imprint. 1 more breath. Keep the shape. Bring the shape over the top of the pelvis as far as you can. With the opposition, pull back on your waist, just like we did in spine stretch, and climb back up. Sit as tall as you can. Lift your heart and chest towards the ceiling. And rest. Good job. Spin over on your tummy. Prepare for diamond press. Land ahead. Set the shoulders so you feel like the hands are pushing, the arms are already slotting into the shoulder. You can feel the shoulder blades wrapping around the edge of your trunk. Announce the position with your legs. Press off the tops of your feet and pick your knees up. Announce your pelvis. So you've got the pubic bone. You've got the 2 pelvic crests. Just the weight between those 3 spots is different. Pubic bone will be heavier. Deep breath in. Reach forward with the crown of your head, think long. Feel your collarbones tip up with your face. Separate the spaces between the ribs on your front spine, on your front chest. Feel the length between your sternum and your pubic bone. Stay. You're about to release the hands, so just make sure you're ready. Look along the length of your spine. Does it feel like you're placed? Pelvis is grounded so that when you release the hands, there'll be no rocking of the boat. You'll have the control and support that you need. Check the front wall. So the abdominal support, slowly release the hands. Turn the palms up. Reach them right back beside your pelvis. Shoulders should feel comfortably broad after the work we've done. The 2 fully outstretched arms after the work we've done. And the ability to look through the line of the spine right now. Check yourself. If you were to take a photograph, what would you see? Would you see the length? Would you see the energy? Evenly distributed. Keep breathing. 1 more. Circle the arms. Return them to the diamond press position. With the assistance of the arms, try and track and lengthen a little further forward. Lower down. Get ready to go again. Feet, knees off, legs active. Feel the support through the hamstrings. The pelvis is in contact. The abdominals are already swept up. The arms, the hands, the shoulders, all supporting the mission to try and help you articulate into extension. Get more elongation through your front wall. Prepare. Hands coming off. Take your time. Feels like you're lying on a glass plate. 3 deep breaths. Use your breath to get more abdominal connection, and then use the abdominal connection to get more length in the column. Feel like a missile. Looking through the length of the spine as you circle the arm. Connecting to the pelvis to look through the spine, forward and long. Lower back down. We have 1 to go. Inhaling up. A deep breath out to prepare. Arms releasing off. Raise them up as far as you can without losing the scapular position. Now turn the palms to face the floor and press the palms into the ground. Continue to work on the length of your back. Raise your left leg just off. Place it back. Raise your right leg just off. Good. Keep looking through the length of your spine and into the leg you leave behind before you raise the leg. Good. Remember the pelvis doesn't shift. So remember the 3 points of your pelvis consistently now, and that leg moves independently around the control of the pelvis and the spine. Last one each hip. Pause, feel the spine, circle the arms, pack them on and lengthen a little bit more, and lower back down. Good. Back with me into child pose. Okay, fantastic. Over on our side. Quick little moment on our side. Little bit like heels in line with your butt. One of my favorite things to do. Little clown. I find I'm so much more effective for any side work, but also standing balance work. Press the feet together and open up. Good. And can you see where my attention is with that top hand? So can you bring awareness into the side bodies, connecting in to the centering of the position, and then slowly open your leg, your knee around that control. You should feel it deep within your hip, into some very clever little muscles called your deep rotators. You'll also notice on the underside, it's a fair bit of work going into the glute med. So the focus is the pelvis. How do you not disturb the piece as you float the leg up? So be aware of rocking or tipping. I'm still in the length of the spine, so my awareness is still within that column, and I'm thinking through the column, wrapping around into the pelvis, forming that centering of the position, the control of the position, so then my leg has got something to work against. All right. See what you think about this one. Stretch both legs, equally as lovely, just a little harder. First leg comes up. First leg turns out. First leg unfolds. First leg comes back. First leg rotates. Flips back. A little harder again, both feet up. First leg up. First leg spiral. Keep the control, stretch out through that inner thigh, hamstring length, bring it back. Thought I'd throw this one in today to give you something to practice for the next week. And bring it up, rotate it, unfold it, bring it back, turn it down, flip it in. Good job. Second side, this is a little teaser of that today. We'll play a bit more on that next week. Okay, heels in line. And clam. Really feel the underside of your body. And slowly return it. I've got just a little bit of pressure on my foot. So my top foot is pushing down just a little through that inside blade. But I've got most of my attention within the spine, the length of it, and then wrapping around the pelvis. Three to go. Good. Stretch both legs. Make sure the feet are ever so slightly in front of you. And now here we go. Anchor the bottom leg and bring the top leg up. And turn it out. And unfold it to the ceiling. And bring it back. And then rotate it and send it home. For practice this week, 2 legs up. And top leg. And turn it. And top leg. And stretch it. Good. Remember to look through the spine, the steadiness of the pelvis, the strength through the core, through the abdominal line, but also the back, the waist, the hips, the pelvis. Last play, the fluid motion, the smooth, the flow, and stretch it back. Fun. Rolling over, dropping weight onto feet. Take a little moment, set them up. So looking into the feet, see if you can spread all 10 toes. And now slowly land your feet, drop your head. Have a little moment, keep your knees bent. We've done a lot of spinal work today. So within the spine, starting at the very tip, slowly roll us up. Right down low into your coccyx and your sacrum. Then work through your lumbar, lower back. And then look up through your middle back, upper back, all the way up and reach your arms above your head. Bring them slowly around and down by your side. Close your eyes and just have a little moment with me. Even with your eyes closed, can you sense the spine? Can you sense the pelvis balancing over your feet, right over the middle? You're just taking this little moment to bring awareness, to tune in. You're in centering mode, learning a little more about posture. And as soon as you shut the eyes down, there's so much to see, to learn, to feel, to experience. You'll notice we're moving. So the impact of gravity encourages us to be dynamic. Gently open your eyes. Thank you very much. Have a lovely Thursday.